Welcome to the IVM Podcast Network.
Welcome to X and Y. I'm Siddhant.
And I am Dilnaz. And this is a show on sex and relationships.
Yeah, it's that dramatic. We are that dramatic.
We're trying to be.
Yeah. Okay, so what is X and Y? Well, this is a show where we actually do talk about sex and relationships.
In a fun, nice, super chilled out way.
Yeah, it's just discussions that we have on topics that we're going to pick every week. And I really hope that you enjoy, learn, and share what we have to say. We just want to keep you in the loop with what we learn every week. And we also want you to know that we are not the experts.
Yes, but we bring you the experts. So that's good. And we actually generally bring to you what's happening in the world of sex and relationships, right?
Yeah, we do. And we really want you to be a part of this. So please get in touch with us and ask us your questions. Share with us your stories and tell us more about you.
And we're going to have a lot of fun. So come have fun with us here.
Yeah. Well, speaking of fun, it all begins with a cheesy, corny topic that we have picked as our first topic. Nothing less than the first date.
Siddhant, that was your idea. You are the corny one. First episode, first date. That's our new topic. But please expect all this corniness from Siddhant.
Yeah. I'm the corny one coming from the actress. I'm the corny, cheesy one.
And I'm the dramatic one.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Sure. Okay, so today's topic is first dates. Now, why did I pick this particular topic?
Yes, why?
Okay, here's the main thing. Of late, I have been hearing, listening, seeing my friends, people around me talk about first dates as though there's some kind of transactional, like some sort of transaction, you know? Like if I do this on my first date, I should get X, which could be a kiss, the first kiss with this person. This should lead me to the second date and the third date, and then we'll be a couple. So the first date is a stepping stone of some kind that leads me to the next thing.
Yeah, but isn't it? I mean, isn't that the point of a first date? To have a second, to have a third, to... No?
Yeah, it is. It is the first step in the series of what could be a relationship. Mm-hmm. But what's important to note is that a first date is where somebody is opening up to you and letting you get to know them. And that is a very sacred thing, I think, in some ways, because in today's world, we're all moving so fast and we have our friends and family and we're stuck with that. And we love it. We love being in our world. So when someone new comes in, to tell them about ourselves is a very powerful act. And to think that a first date is logically supposed to take you to these other places might not be the best approach.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's very convenient and ideal to say that have no expectations out of the first date. Great. I mean, ideally, I would like to go on a first date without any preconceived notions, without any expectations. But we are all humans, yeah. Reality mein doesn't happen, no, like that. Like, I have so many friends, okay, who've tried to set me up on dates and all.
How does that go? I mean...
Really, I had one friend who's trying to set me up. I'm like, look, I don't think I'm going to get along with him. It's not going to go anywhere. She's like, no, it's okay, yaar. At least you'll make a friend. And I'm like, I have enough friends. I have more than enough friends.
Great
I don't
consolation
want
prize for
more
you.
Than that.
Go for a date, get a friend.
Just go with no expectations. You might just get a friend. And I'm like, thank you. Like, really, you know, I don't want that.
I mean, I don't know how many friends you can make from like going on a first date with somebody. Like, oh, I'll just, if nothing else, I'll just get a friend out of this. I'm so excited to get this secondary friend clause put into this. But yeah, I think a big part of dating or really attraction is the first impression. And before a first date, somebody usually makes a very strong first impression on somebody else.
Yeah, and we all are so easy to judge others, you know, like it's so simple. Oh, she's wearing something like this. That means she's that kind of a personality. Yeah. Oh, she's got a tattoo. That means she's one of those chicks, you know.
Right. Dilnaz, though, that's actually something you've stumbled upon here that makes a lot of sense. We just looked into a study very recently about first impressions, and there are a number of signifiers, factors that get pulled into a first impression right away. Like when you see somebody within a few seconds of their outward appearance or, you know, their clothing, body language, that you actually make certain assumptions about them.
Yeah.
So for women, one of the
tell
first...
us your assumptions that you make about women, Sid. Come on.
No.
Out with it.
This is the research is pointing to what women see in men. Okay, so let's start with that. Let's start with the first thing is sexual orientation.
But isn't that necessary? One has to.
I'm just saying what's happening here. So the first thing they see is he gay or not? Mm-hmm. And if he's not, okay, first hurdle cleared. Very important though. Good job. Then it goes straight to is he successful, or does he own a lot of money? Because but then if you're going on a first date with no other expectation of second, third, blah blah blah, then why does being successful, does he have money? We aren't on a first date right now. We are making an impression of somebody.
So should I ask him or her on a first date?
Yeah, this is a factor that so this is all well before the first date, right? You see a man walk into a room and he's wearing a suit and he's like clean cut and shaven and he looks great. So the first thing that women do is see if he's straight or gay. Then they see if he's successful or not. And then they move on to other characteristics. Is he dominant? Because
how do you know he's dominant?
Right, I don't know.
How would she know?
But one of the things that the studies pointed out is that men who tend to be bald or clean shaven, women judge them to be more dominant than
but isn't that
men with
sad?
hair.
This is how we're judging people, yeah?
But this is natural instinct. This is natural instinct.
Human
instinct, yeah. For the guys, well, promiscuity is actually right up there. The tattoos, which you touched upon earlier, is where I stopped
Really, that's part of the research.
Yes. Men see tattoos and think, okay, more promiscuous. So visible tattoos can do that. That can work against you, by the way. It's not that they always favor more promiscuous women. So there's that.
No, they don't want that. A lot of men I know want the typical seedhi, saadi, achhi ladki, take home material, introduced to mother material.
There you have it. Yeah. There's Dilnaz mocking all of you.
No, I'm not mocking. But
that was your mocking voice, Dilnaz.
Oh, damn. You saw through it. I mean, you heard through it.
Heard straight through it. Yeah, that's definitely...
how deep her cleavage is.
Yeah.
Will that decide whether is that a first impression?
I mean,
how many drinks has she had so far?
Also part of it. Alcohol consumption is another level of promiscuity.
That's a whole different topic only, what alcohol does to people.
Let's get to that. That'll come later in future shows. Another thing about first impressions is sometimes first impressions are so strong that even facts don't change them. Like, I think there was a study, I don't have the source, but we'll put all our sources up with our episodes, so you'll get to read through all of them.
Actually, that would be a great idea.
Exactly.
Sometimes you come up with great ideas.
I'm all about the ideas, yeah. Some uncorny ideas.
Yeah.
But anyway, so in this, they found that even though a person has misjudged somebody with their first impression, finding out the facts did not change their opinion of the other person. Because it's sort of, you trust your first instinct here and you see a person and you judge them. And on top of that, you just go, oh, okay, this person is bad for me because of these reasons. And then, even though when you meet them and talk to them and find out that's not the case, something is still going at you saying, I still don't believe that.
But that is different. Instinct is different from judging and making an impression. I feel there are two completely different things.
Exactly.
I'm not someone to say don't believe. In fact, I always tell people, go with your gut feel, trust your instinct.
Exactly.
But if your instinct is going to be based on the physical appearance and an impression and a judgment, then I feel that's a bit...
it's counterintuitive to you.
That's
And that's why I think even these studies can't really point out with first impressions having a major impact on you. I think that you can work with a well-managed first impression. You do need to come across as yourself, first of all. You can't, because when you're in a crowd and somebody sees you and you meet them later, you can't make a new first impression. You've already made your impression. You have to be who you are and be the best that you can be of yourself. It sounds very complex, but it's basically... Don't try to be somebody else to impress someone.
Just be yourself. That's it. No.
Yeah.
So then if your first...
Every single movie that has had like the movie trope of, oh, the guy's a loser, then he like puts on a suit and pretends to be rich, and then the girl falls for him, and then she hates him later. It's because you lied to her. You can skip forward and watch the end of the movie.
Yourself, and if she likes you, great. If she doesn't, then her loss.
Yeah, exactly.
Or his loss or whatever.
It's the same with the ladies. Please don't change your appearance based on trying to get a date simply because you want to get a date.
Yeah.
It's not going to work well for you in the end. You might even get the date, but it might not work well for you in the end.
It might not go somewhere other than that. So then what's the point?
Yeah. So, what can we change once we are on this first date? Okay, we might not be able to change first impressions, but we might be able to rally together and get that person out on a date. So what are the things that really don't work and do work
on a date?
On a first date.
I think where we decide to go on the first date is... I feel a little bit of effort should be made to find out where should we go? I'm sure, even if you ask someone out, I'm sure all men and all women do a little bit of research, and now with Facebook and this, that, everybody's personal lives are out.
Quick Facebook stalk and check it out.
It's not too tough. Yeah. So everybody knows everybody's personal details too.
Yeah.
So I think, maybe some common interests, okay, she's a dancing kind of girl, or she's a music kind of girl. Maybe I should take her to she likes singing. Why don't I take her to a karaoke bar? I feel it's that because that person, as you said earlier, right? The person's letting you into their lives, sharing a part of their lives.
Right.
So I think whoever's asked the other for a date, I think that little bit of, and not too much effort, or else the person's going to run away saying that, hey,
overwhelming.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think that little bit of effort for the first date,
I agree with you, but I think it's also a question of who you're asking out on the first date. Because I think if you're asking out somebody new who you've met very recently, and you just are curious to know who they are and what they're about, and if they're a match for you, you should probably ask them out to a place where you are comfortable, sort of your home ground, home field advantage, as they say, so that it might be your favorite restaurant, your favorite bar,
but a neutral place where you're comfortable. You can't take her to some ice skating rink where you're damn comfortable, but she doesn't know what's happening.
That's good. That's actually
like
exactly
a neutral
true.
ground, I feel.
You do need you need a place where there's conversation. You can talk. You need to talk.
Yeah,
that's
you
the whole point.
cannot go for a film on the first date.
It's a terrible idea.
It's terrible. Both of you are just sitting and watching the film. Okay, chalo. First date.
Okay,
over.
chalo. I'll drop you home now. Bye. Yeah. And accidentally brush hands, and that's all you text to your friend. Oh my God, it's amazing. We stopped. We have to stop doing that. Yeah. You have to keep doing that. Every time you hit an important moment,
I have to
you just
provide.
do the
I have
violence.
to be the dramatic dinner.
Yeah, you have to put in the music. Yeah. You should definitely do that.
I went to a circus once for a first date.
How did that go?
It was lots of fun. It was so much fun.
Why was that fun? Let's break it down.
Because it was not a normal, usual first date where you're just going to a restaurant, having a drink, calling for some food, and that's it. I've been to so many of those, So the circus was a completely new idea.
Yeah.
And it was a fun thing to do. Of course, luckily neither of us were like PETA enthusiasts and oh my God.
Please check for PETA enthusiasm. Very important.
They've been evil and cruel to animals. Luckily it wasn't that.
Yeah.
But it was a fun thing. There were clowns and, it was not a great circus, but it was fun.
I'll tell you why it was fun. According to me, in my opinion, it was fun because sometimes sitting in front of another person with nothing but a glass of water at a restaurant table is very intimidating because you don't know what to talk about. You don't know what to do. You could talk about your job, but you might have a job that you think is boring or she might find boring. However, if you're at the circus, you can point out to any number of actually colorful characters out there and just go, look at that. That's hilarious. Look at that. That's funny. Do you like elephants? So many things to talk about. So it's good. Like you can take somebody out on a first date with a lot of opportunities and things to talk about. That's always useful.
I don't know, sometime maybe a salsa night somewhere. Where you can do one dance, come back to your table, have a bit of conversation, have fun, fall, trip.
Yeah, could be funny.
I mean, it could be
funny. But gauge the person because sometimes you never know. You never know if somebody's just not into dancing. You've taken them to a very uncomfortable spot.
I would love to be taken for a food fest.
On your first date?
Yeah. I love food. Like going to this stall, trying out this, trying out that. I mean, but I think, that like not a normal regular dinner. I mean, I feel that like if I would be asked out on a date, I would like it to be something different.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen.
In case anyone wants to
anybody
ask
wants to
me
ask Dilna's out on a first date, make sure it's to a food festival. It's going to work. I have it on good authority.
Or a boat ride.
Boat ride is good. I've done it.
know? Oh, you have?
Yeah, it works great.
It worked. You went out for a second date after that.
There was a second date, yeah.
Okay.
But it's good because no one expects it ever. Shocking that not enough people do boat rides. But it's a very, very good date. Yeah, what else do we have about dates? Stuff to not talk about. This is a very, very, very long list. A lot of things that we might mention on this list can completely backfire on you. It might work, it might not work. But I'm just going to talk about very broadly the most important things that you shouldn't do on a first date. First of all, put your phone away.
Yes, please.
Nobody cares about that Facebook notification you got about a party that your friend is interested in. You didn't need to know that.
And also put your phone away and don't take selfies.
Don't take selfies.
Can you imagine you're going out on a date and the chick is taking, 1 minute, selfie. And in the next 2 minutes, it's on Facebook, you are tagged. And, I'm sure you're never going to ask her.
I'm nauseous now. That is...
I'm telling you, there are a lot of chicks who do that. Let me just introduce you to the world of chicks.
What really did it badly for me right now was when you needed the voice. You did her voice. And I was like, oh, God, that's horrifying. Yeah, don't do that. Don't be on your phone. Don't take selfies.
Yes. Do not talk about your ex-boyfriends too much or ex-girlfriends too much.
Yeah, just mention it if it comes up in conversation. No hiding it. There's you are who you are. That's cool. Do not dominate the conversation. You should let her talk or him talk. It's important. You're there to understand who this person is and how they fit in with you.
Yeah, inquire about their lives, their interests. What do they do on weekends? What do they love doing, their job? I mean, it's nice, sometimes to open up and one likes it,
Always works for me is a sense of humor. So please ask things other than, what do you do for a living?
Yeah, but then what if you're not a funny person?
You don't have to be funny. You can ask funny questions. That's the thing. Some homework can really work for you.
Listen, then that's not being yourself. It's like then you've done too much homework. I'm going to ask her this and I'm going to ask her that. And I'm going to try and be funny. Let me look up on the internet some funny first date questions to ask.
See, now you're in the territory of what we were talking about earlier. I mean, simple things like, do you like chewing gum? I know it sounds idiotic, but it's an icebreaker. And sometimes you need some of those just lying around. Yeah, just a random
like a starter
question.
Conversation.
Yeah.
Or how was your day? Or what did you do today? No, that's not an interesting starter
conversation.
Yeah,
that works too. But I think that's something people more, they don't want to bore other people with the details of their lives sometimes.
And listen, please.
Listening helps. Yeah. But here's a piece of research that we dug up. Don't talk about films.
What?
Okay, so I checked this out. This was a study. Mm-hmm. People who talk about movies on their first date tend to get into arguments, and you get to a point very quickly where it gets a little hostile. And a good place to start is something that is a personal story of your own, which cannot be argued with. So something like traveling. Traveling is apparently a very good first date conversation topic because you can talk about yourself. Mm-hmm. Some facet of you, because where you traveled, what you did says a lot about you and your values.
You have lots of stories to talk about your
and it just demonstrates the values that you have. So somebody listening to this can, the person you've taken out rather, listening to this, can go ahead and see what kind of person you are and how they can be seen with you. So do talk about travel. It's very important. Why I'm saying this is because 9% of the people who talked about movies got a second date, whereas 18% who talked about travel got a second date.
This is a statistic.
This is a statistic of a study that I just dug up on first date conversation.
Wow.
Yeah. Who knew?
Wow, yeah.
Well, you know now, but
now I know.
Now you know. Yeah. So here's the thing. All of this stuff, all these statistics, whatever studies that we reference on this show, we'll give you links to it. But remember that it is just a study at the end of the day. It's not a sure-shot method.
Not do this or else.
Yeah,
it's not going to work.
It's a friendly suggestion. Yeah. If it doesn't work for you, please tell us. We'd love to know what went on and what went wrong.
If you have common friends, talk about common friends. Common interests. Do not talk about how many kids you want to have in the future.
Do not overshare. Don't share too much. It's a big turn off. People get very scared of this. And it's important that you maintain a balance that way.
And pay her a nice compliment sometimes.
Oh,
not a
I know it
very
is.
sexual compliment
Yeah.
or not on what she's wearing and not how... I mean, a nice neutral compliment.
Yeah.
You know?
You know what helps?
What?
And I've noticed this. Don't try and make a physical compliment. Like, don't talk about her eyes or hair or something. What you should try is talk about sort of a trait or a value that she has. Like, I like how you're very ambitious, or maybe not as...
Wow, Sid, you're damn good at this.
I'm telling you,
You've been
this
out
works.
for a lot of first dates.
This works very well. Say stuff like, I really like how hardworking you are because you came so late from office today and you put in the time. It works.
Yeah, I guess
It
pay her a
totally
compliment,
works.
not on her physical. In fact,
Yeah.
I remember a joke someone had said that if a guy is on a first date, if a guy is staring for more than 5 minutes into your eyes, that means you need boob implants.
Ooh.
Am I allowed to say this on air?
Take a break.
Did you know that some termites in Africa have a pleasantly minty flavor?
Did you know that India's largest music festival was in a way conceptualized in Estonia?
Did you know that the awesomest chips in the world are found only inside US prisons?
Hello, I'm Chuck,
I'm Sriket.
And I'm Naren.
and together we are
Simplified,
a podcast that helps you appear smarter to an audience that knows no different.
Or give you some stuff to talk about at parties.
We are ultra crepidarians.
And if you don't know what that means,
Then tune in to Simplified with a B on iTunes, Audio Boom, or your favorite podcasting app. Episodes out every fortnight.
So, another don't that I find at the date is don't forget your wallet.
Oof.
Do not. I have gone through it. I mean,
Sounds
not
very unpleasant already.
Yes,
Yeah.
not a forget wallet situation, but I once went out for a date, first date, and we went for a movie, and then afterwards we went to a restaurant to eat some stuff. And I was not hungry, so I ordered like one tea, like $100 tea. And then he ordered a couple of things, and his bill must have been some $800-900. And I'm not the one who ever says pay for me. Right, I'm a very, I will pay for myself, I will go Dutch, let's share.
Good to hear. Good to hear for everybody out there.
Yes.
Everyone take notes.
But he asked me to pay 100 rupees, yeah.
That's just cheap.
Now
That's just cheap.
I have no problem in paying, okay?
Did he
but
break out the
100
calculator and
rupees?
explain to you like how he got to this figure?
No, he was like, okay, you paid for the tickets and you've not eaten anything here and your sandwich was 200 rupees and you paid for my ticket and blah, blah, blah. So you need to pay me 100 rupees.
Did he offer you an EMI plan?
No, really.
Sounds like he could have. He sounds like an insurance agent.
Like, I had to pay 100 rupees, of course. As you know, there was never a second date after that.
It shouldn't
It
be.
was
Did he
just-
calculate that? Did he cost for that? Like, did he just... I saved
Listen,
500
I have
rupees.
I can't tell you the number of terrible first dates I have
I think
had.
you can tell us.
There are
I
a lot
think you
of
should tell
don'ts
us.
that I was just actually thinking of the don'ts right now, and I
Okay.
was like, my God, I have been through so many.
Oh, right.
Like I was just like teeth problem.
Mouth-teeth
okay?
problem.
Like
Mouth
something
teeth.
stuck in your teeth kind of thing during the entire date conversation. I had something similar. So I have caps on my teeth, okay? Like
Okay.
these front upper teeth of mine are 10 caps. As a child, teeth were bad, blah,
Right,
blah, blah,
right,
blah, blah.
yeah.
So I can't bite into anything hard. No,
Forever.
Sid, I don't know what you're thinking.
Forever.
Forever. Okay?
Forever.
Ever. So I
How
can't.
do you live?
I can't bite
How
into
do
a.
you live?
I manage. I avoid hard things. So I didn't.
Me
So
actually
anyway,
coughing. Yeah.
I can't bite into an apple or toast. So I went out on a date.
Okay.
And it was a breakfast date. So I was damn excited. Breakfast date. I'm doing
Yeah.
something different. I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah.
going for a
So
dinner
cool,
date.
yeah.
So we went to the Moshe at Kolaba and all, and I ordered waffles with chocolate and all. And
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the fork there was longer than a normal fork. I assure you. And I was
Just-
damn excited about my food and my chocolate and waffle.
I can't get over the fact that you talked about the fork right now. There has to be a payoff for this, which has to be spectacular.
There is.
Okay.
So I bite into, thinking I bite the tip of the fork, thinking
Alright.
it's the tip of the fork, and I'm
Okay.
biting into my waffle.
Okay.
But I bite into the fork with full gusto, full power, and my front tooth breaks. My
No,
front
no,
cap comes
no.
out.
Oh, I'm screaming
And there
here.
he is
Oh.
looking at me with his front tooth out.
Oh no.
Of course, we didn't go for any dates. The poor thing ran with me to the dentist and
And
major
then he
drama
ran.
happened.
Did he run after that? Did he just keep running and
now
not
we
look
are
back?
just friends.
Oh my god.
So yeah, that was
So pro tip, when you're eating on a date, do not bite into the fork. It's been known to cause problems. I have it on good authority.
Yes. But
Okay.
even general food related, like I know, like if you're a health freak, I don't care if you're a health freak, do not tell me what to eat, how many calories I'm intaking. You're now taking in so many grams of protein with the bite that you've had. Oh, you've had the drink, that means so many calories. My God!
Is he
Turn
narrating
off.
it like a nature
Turn
documentary? Dilnaz is biting into her burger now. There are 10 grams of protein in each burger.
Okay, I have one, sorry,
Oh,
but
no.
I have one more.
You are not sorry at all, but go ahead.
I'm not.
Tell us
I'm
the
trying to
story.
be
Tell us the
polite.
story. I want to hear it.
So, another terrible, disastrous first date. Married men.
Oof.
Ooh. So I had just gotten out of a relationship and I went for one of these spiritual courses. I'm not
Yeah.
taking names and all that.
Okay.
4 days of silence, okay?
Complete silence.
Complete silence,
Must
no
have been
communication.
the worst 4 days of your life.
No, I enjoyed it.
Rubbish.
I love silence.
I don't know if you've even met silence before. Like,
Listen, I've done Vipassana and all, 12 days of silence, okay?
Acha, okay.
So anyway, so after the 4 days of silence also, I somehow managed to get a date. Saw
Because
this guy,
silence
cute
leads to
guy.
date, correct, yeah.
No, after that, when we break our silence,
He's
whatever,
been waiting
vow,
to ask you out for 4 days now. Yeah.
So we exchange numbers. I'm like, cute guy.
Correct.
He does the whole 3-day wait rule that
Nice.
men seem to have.
Yeah.
And calls me. We go out for a date, for a drink. And in the conversation, something, and he mentions my son. And I'm like,
My heart stopped.
yeah. I was like,
My heart actually stopped now.
I was like, did maybe I heard something wrong.
You did.
Maybe it's not.
Yeah.
But I didn't. Then I'm thinking, shit, does that mean his wife is dead? Is he divorced?
You went there only, na? It turned into a Hindi
No,
movie
but
for
how
you,
do you
na?
ask, yeah? What do you say? Son means, sorry, does he have a wife? Does he not have a wife?
Why
is
are
he
you asking me?
separated,
You have to ask him, na?
divorced? How do you ask? What if his wife is dead? I mean, how do you bring that
have a
topic
wife?
up?
Is she dead?
Well, it turns out he wasn't because she wasn't because he brought up the wife then. I'm like, acha, theek hai, means wife thi.
Yeah.
She's alive. Then, of course, I find out that no divorce, no separation. He is happily living with his wife.
Okay.
And I don't know what to say, of course. There were no dates after that. I kind of made an excuse and said, okay, lovely. See
Yeah.
you soon. Bye-bye.
Do you tell him you're allergic to married people? I'm gonna try that. I'm like, I can't be there. I'm allergic to married people.
But it's crazy. It's crazy the kind of people you meet sometimes. Really.
It is crazy the kind of people Dilnaz meets sometimes.
Yes, Dilnaz
Yeah.
happens to me.
Exactly.
There was a t-shirt. Sorry, again I'm interrupting you, but I have to say this. I just thought of it.
Go for it.
I bought a t-shirt saying that I don't make mistakes, I date them.
I think we've got a lot of proof right now. If anybody has some comments on this, please let us know. Do you date mistakes as well? But if you do want to know how to ask somebody out on a date, I have a very surefire method.
And what is that?
If it's somebody you don't know, or somebody you do know, you should just go up to them in a social setting of some kind, engage them in a conversation. In this 5-minute conversation that you have with them, attempt to get these 3 things. Are they seeing anybody? Are they married? Do they have time this week? And very crucially, are they interested in you in any way?
How do you find that out? Like, how do you ask, are you interested in me in any way?
Yeah. Obviously, you don't have to ask them this directly. You have to ascertain this information by being clever. Using the word
By
ascertain
seeing
helps a lot.
Yes,
Makes
by
it
seeing
sound
the signs.
clever. Yeah.
And the signals.
Yeah, you got to read the signs and see the signals. That should be a t-shirt, by the way. Read the signs, see the signals. Okay?
Intelligent.
So, just look out for that. After that happens, make sure you frame a question along the lines of, I would like to take you out to wherever it is you want to take them out to on this day at this time, once you figure out when they're free, and ask them if they would like that.
That's it.
I think so.
It's not as simple as that, Sid.
Why does it keep working then?
Does it really work for you?
It does. It totally does.
Yeah, but there are a lot of other factors that I mean, you might find it simple. I might also find it simple. But I know a lot of other friends who don't find it as simple as these 3 steps that you've put it in.
I know, but there's no other better way to do it. Like, really think about it. There's no better way to ask somebody out than to literally go up to them and ask them a question.
But asking is only difficult, no? Because there's, let's say, the fear of rejection, yeah? I mean, I think that's what most of us go through,
That's a very
right?
big...
Like, what if she says no?
Yes.
And then you don't have an excuse. It's not like
here's the thing. This is all part of it. You can't expect all of this to work. First dates of any kind or asking people out of any kind is always a risk. You are always putting yourself out there. And if you don't want to do it, then you never will.
Yeah, what are you going to lose? Maximum, she'll say no.
She'll say no. If it's someone you don't know even, you may never see that person again. But will you be okay with that and regret it later?
What if she's common friends? Then she might laugh about it in front of all your... I mean, I'm sure all those things also...
Of course, they're all there. But, at the end of the day, your friends' laughter isn't going to, be with you for whatever reason. It's not you're not going to date that. You're not going to be in a relationship with your friend's approval. You have to be in a relationship with someone you want to be in a relationship with. Or you want to date. Let's start with that. So, ask someone out. And make sure they know they're on a date.
That's the worst or the best, actually. A lot of times we're out on a date and you don't know. Is it a date? Like, I as a chick, I've gone out a couple of times and I'm like, oh, he mentioned date, but he's behaving like it's not a date. So, he's giving me mixed signals. Is it a date? Is it not a date? I mean...
I have to be honest with you. I have gone out on these dates. I have asked someone out.
You've been confused or you've confused someone else?
I would like to say I haven't confused somebody else, but they have ended up being confused. Or they just didn't get it. That it's a date.
Because it's not. You might say one thing and your body language says something else or your talk says something else. So it's damn confusing, yeah?
Here's the thing. You have to try and make sure they know. It sounds really easy when I say it, but the words date should come up in conversation. Like, I am taking you here for our date in your text before the date. Helps, I've noticed, It didn't help me that one time, but it could help you.
The other time.
It's difficult. Like sometimes.
Yeah, but is that corny to say I'm asking you out on a date? It's so verbose.
That's why you can't say
Who
it.
talks
That's why
like
you
that,
can't say that. That's why you can't say it.
Exactly. So you have to somehow let her know that. But this is a date.
Yeah.
How do we do that?
Somehow mentions the words date.
Okay.
In conversation,
Okay.
like, so on our date we are going to go here. Don't be like, it's a date. My God, you deserve to die if that happens. Yeah. Anyway, speaking of people who know about dating.
More than you and me?
More than you and me. We have to call in our first ever guest. A very good friend of mine. A resident on the Indus Vox network. My good friend, Mae Thomas.
Woohoo! Clap, 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 Mariam!
Clapping. So, Mariam's here. Say hi, Mariam.
Hi. Well, you know me as Mae at least.
Yeah,
Mariam's
I
also
don't
my
call
name.
her Mae. I want all of y'all to know that. That's a
My
thing
name is
that we
also
have.
Mariam, by the way. But
Yeah, I know, but I don't do it. It's a thing that I have.
Of course.
Yeah, but anyway, Mae, or Mae, I can't do it. Mariam, please,
that's better.
please tell us about first dates and Mariam.
I've been on a lot of first dates.
No shame in it. I have as
No
well.
shame.
Yeah.
But you know what? It kind of started because when I was in college and that was, I started dating. I was in boarding school and I didn't really have, it was just different. And when I was in college and I was in the UK.
Just
and I was
imagine
like,
a boarding
wow.
school date. Hey, meet me outside your dorm. Let's
No.
go. Let's
Under
go
the
climb
tree,
a tree.
under the sycamore
Or
tree.
Sit under the tree.
Bougainvillea.
Yeah. And let's
Banyan.
share stuff from the tuck shop.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Have
we said
Maggie.
this thing called a walk to the gate, which was the end of where the
That's so
school was.
romantic.
It is. It was like this beautiful archwayed path kind of thing.
How amazing.
Can the violins go la 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 la?
That's her thing now.
have
That's
to
her
put
thing.
them in.
That is your thing now?
That's her thing now.
Yeah.
She's gonna keep
No.
doing
I'm
Yeah.
so scared.
that. Yeah. And then you come back and hold hands at the dorm and then leave.
Can't hold hands.
Oh my
You
god.
can only hold hands
Secretly.
Secretly.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. We're
And did
allowed.
you go on any dorm dates?
No, I didn't. I just thought all boys were stupid till the age of 18.
Good call, Mae. Good call, Mariam.
Till 18.
Mae Mariam.
Because I'm like, oh, guys are idiots. But actually, this whole first date thing, I had a rule for myself.
Okay.
When I was in college, because you just feel like, oh, I should be careful of myself when I'm dating people or whatever. And I realized that women, we can be bitches. It's so easy for us to say no. We just like I get
on the behalf of men worldwide, no comment.
But it's true though. We really do find it really easy to say no, and I don't think we realize how much like courage and like, you know, like whatever self-worth you have, it takes to actually ask a girl out on a date and then her go no, and then it kills you every single time. So I had this rule that I was like, you know what? I mean, unless you were a total outright creepo, I would always say yes. So if a guy asked me out, I always said yes.
Was that the rule?
That was the rule.
That's a great rule.
Say, damn, you didn't know her when she was in school. Damn!
If I only knew.
College.
Yeah.
No, so I basically decided I would say yes. And because, you know what? Who am I to judge this person? I barely know you for even 5-10 minutes or however long we've been hanging out. I should give you the benefit of the doubt and get to know you a bit better and then judge you.
I love how this ties in perfectly with all our stuff from first impressions to school first impressions. Ask them out anyway.
Yeah.
It's true. I think that makes a lot of sense. So, in terms of being asked out, where does that happen most of the time for you? How do people ask you out? Do they get very innovative? Do they just simply ask you out? Is it a note? Is it chit? Is it a little movie? What is going on?
I gotta say this. I like my stats. Okay. I love doing my research. I like statistics. So most of the time, either people get to know you a little better, maybe 1 or 2 days that you hang out, and then they like sort of, hey, let's hang out more. Or so I think maybe because I'm quite an open, friendly kind of gal, and guys find it really easy to ask me out. They're all like, hey, let's hang out or let's go here. I want to take you on a date. And it's happened. So I was living in the UK for 6 years, and that's when all my dating began. And I have this stat, which is how quickly can a guy ask me out in the time of knowing each other. And the fastest when I was in the UK was a guy who knew me for 1 hour. He was like a local counselor and he worked for Greenpeace and he was built like a shithouse. He was massive.
Yeah.
We exchanged a look.
So he's kind of cute and he was a really nice guy. And I interviewed him for this news show that I was doing, and then he left. And then that was like 1 hour he knew me while I was interviewing him. And we spoke for 5 minutes before that. And then boom, he was like, I want to take you out for a play on Friday night. And I was like, what? My brain exploded. I'm like, you've known me for an hour and you ask me out? But someone else in India beat his record.
Asked
me out
this
after
story.
20 minutes. He knew me for 20
story.
minutes. We were going to play together. And in 20 minutes, he was like, yeah. And it was like 11:30 in the night. He's like, I'm taking you out on a date now.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I went out. He was like, if I'm a confident woman, he's like my bop, dude.
Yeah.
He was he was just so confident in himself.
And how was the date? Was it a fun date?
Yeah, it was nice. He was a really chilled out guy, and he's a musician, so he had gigs the next day. And then we got to know each other.
Legend. The man is a legend. I know him.
You know, he's met.
I want to know after the show. You can whisper it.
Yeah.
He's a cool guy. Really, really nice. And I had like an amazing, and you know what? We used to rival, like to have like two incredibly, we were talking about confidence. I'm confident. He's confident. Like he's one of the few people that I had such clarity. Like there was no like, oh, I'm not sure if I like you. I wasn't sure because I was leaving within a month, to come back to Bombay. This is when I was in Chennai. But he was just so good. He was like, listen, I like you, you like me, let's just hang out and see where this goes. And I was like, no pressure.
Imagine that with the sexy man voice.
Yeah, and violins in the background.
And do the violins.
La 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 la.
Yeah.
I need to stop.
I think it's going to be, is the tune going to change? I
don't think, we're not sure yet.
Yeah,
we'll see.
We'll think about it.
See how
we'll see how it goes, how it sounds.
My heart will go on in the next one. It's really
maybe.
Terrible. But yeah, so first dates, I've been amazed at how quickly, but I think it's also because I'm an open person, I sort of lay everything out on the table. So I'm just saying, I give a good first impression. Well, most of the time at least, I think.
Yeah.
I hope so.
I mean, you can tell.
Yeah, and I think, and like how you guys were sort of mentioning earlier that, I think it's that element, not just of confidence, because I think there are also guys that wouldn't ask me out because they'd feel intimidated in some way because I'm a confident
I completely
woman.
agree with that. Because, personally, great for confident guys, but I prefer that shy boy sitting in the corner. I mean, that's what I find attractive. Sorry, Sid.
Yeah, well,
but yeah,
never had
no scope.
Never had a
Sorry,
chance in this room.
But yeah, I mean, great for confident guys, but
Just hang up my shoes and go home. Like,
No, but you know what? I had the same thing. So I had a flatmate of mine who I adore, but we used to go out a lot with each other. So one day she was like, not like we'd be competition because we're very different looking people, but she was like, I don't want us to go for the same kind of guy. So I was like, what kind of guy do you go for? And she went for the very chiseled, good looking, confident kind of guys. And I was like, I go for that guy's best friend because he may not be as good looking, but he's funny and he's intelligent.
yeah.
wow.
So yeah,
Generalizations everywhere.
of course.
Enjoy all of that, guys. Enjoy it.
No, but I think that's
Everyone's
the
like,
point
I'm the best
of
friend.
things. That there is no generalization.
Yeah,
You know,
there
I mean,
isn't.
there's no
There
point in
isn't.
saying come across as confident because everybody might not like that confident
Yeah.
kind of guy or confident
Yeah.
kind of girl. You know.
But as I'm saying, I dated him incredibly. Like most of the guys
Guys,
I've dated are very
however,
confident.
I would like to, in favor of confidence, say one thing. At the moment of asking somebody out, if you aren't confident, then we have a problem.
No.
I think so.
No.
I don't think you can sort of go talk to somebody and go, well, can I please
Why?
Go-
That's so cute.
go
And you're
out.
blushing.
I was gonna say that's endearing.
That's so cute.
For women, it's like, oh,
Yeah, he's shy. He's not even to
Women
ask
like
you
awe
out.
too,
He's
you know.
blushing.
my God,
Yeah.
And not that I. So it depends.
I'm
for
learning
me.
something new every day.
Women like, oh man, I think it's an equal measure of both. I think there's, like I said, that guy from Chennai, he was just, I was blown away by his confidence because he was just like, he rivaled me. And again, so much clarity. Like I was never confused. You know how you always like, oh, does he, won't he, will he? Never felt like that.
He made
with
it clear
him.
right from the beginning.
Yeah, he was
This is
like,
what it
I
is.
like you, and clearly you like me. And even if I didn't like him, I'd like him then. You're telling me I like him? Yes, I do. You're confident, and now I'm confident.
Yeah,
Like,
it's,
it was. He could have said anything to me. Have some juice, okay? Yeah, it was just, but it wasn't like it was never overt. It was just so he was so subtle, and he
right.
was just
Yeah,
it was just
yeah.
perfect. He was not arrogant, wasn't a dick. It was cool, man. But yeah,
Good stuff.
thanks, man.
So dates in general, what is your favorite first date ever?
Favorite first date. So I actually have a disastrous date, but then turned out to be awesome.
Oh,
Which is
yeah?
one of my most memorable dates, actually.
Okay, what is it about?
So this was that guy who knew me for an hour. The first day we went on, so we went for this play. I think it was some The Hobbit. We went to go see, and Dilmas, we're like, he's a cute guy. I'm gonna be like, I wore like this short little sweater dress and my heels, and I was like, I'm getting dressed up for this shit because he's a really hot guy, and I'm like, I gotta step up my game. I can't wear like some pretty tights with baggy top type scene. So I was like really like nicely dressed up, and I went and we parked his car. So where the theater was, they had these like multi-story car parks.
Okay.
And he'd parked in there, and I'd put the ticket in my bag. Now the thing is, nice play. It was really cute, and it's kind of nice because in between the play, we had you have like a couple of moments, because you're sitting so close to each other, and then you ask a question, and he's like whispering in your ear, and it's kind of
and the
nice,
hands
you
brush.
know. That little sounds like.
There was no me, so there would have been no violence at that time. But
Yeah. But it was really nice and
Wow.
cheeky and fun. And then we go to the car park, and I'm supposed to take out the ticket, right? To get the car.
Yeah, you need
And
those.
I can't find the ticket. So I'm squatting on the floor,
In your little
pull my
knit
bag
short
open, and
dress.
I'm pulling stuff out, and I'm like, oh my God.
And he's probably thinking, yep, sexy.
no, he's probably thinking, idiot.
I gotta like that. Yeah, squatting,
Squatting in
taking,
my heels and short dress.
emptying her bag out on the parking lot. That's the one. That's the look I was waiting
Oh
for.
God, it was highly embarrassing though for me. So I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God, and I was panicking, I was like, oh my God. And he's like, listen, and he was so calm. He's like, listen, don't worry about it. On the parking machine meter or whatever it was, there was a call for assistance button. So you press that, and some like woman from Zambia or something picked up. I have no idea.
Yeah,
So what is the problem?
No stereotyping on this show.
Yes.
That's
not.
actually exactly
Especially
how
not
that lady
racial.
spoke,
Pretty much.
and
She did.
that's what she said.
She had
And
cornrows.
She could have been from Zambia, probably.
Or Nigeria
I
or
don't
Ghana.
know.
We don't
Yeah,
know.
we'll never know.
But basically, there was a fine of £15, which
Okay.
isn't a lot, but it isn't little either. And for something like a parking, it just seems so little.
Yeah.
So what happened was my date, he spoke to the lady very politely and said, we've lost our ticket, but we came in at this time. If you check your CCTV cameras, you'll see this car with this license plate number. He gave all the details.
Okay.
And then this woman was like, no, you got to pay the fine. And he's like, come on, like trying to reason with her, like, come on, be forgiving. And I think for him, he was one of those like fight against the man kind of people. So like, he worked at Greenpeace and he was a local counselor, so he was just always fighting something. So I respected him for that though, standing your ground a little bit. But I literally I felt so bad. I'm pulling out like whatever money's in my wallet. I'm like, I got 8 quid. Like, just put the rest in, And then
how did you
like,
pull it out? Did you just squat on the ground?
No squatting. Just pulled out my purse.
Okay.
So, no more squatting. So, and this woman cut the call about 3 times. And eventually the 3rd time, because he was just trying to reason with him, like, can't you be forgiving of like one person? I mean, you are not a robot. You are supposed to be some sort of customer service person. Like, I've given you all the details on a plate. You just check your CCTV camera. You'll see us. So, but she was like, no. And I was like, I did me. And he was on principle, was like, no, we're not doing this. And when she cut the call again, I literally was just like, I'm so sorry. And you're just like this chorus of I'm so sorry at him.
Yeah.
And he just took my hand. We went up to where his car was parked and we got into his car. And I'm at that point going, you're going to be put in jail. I'm going to get deported. Like I was panicking. Yeah, the world has ended because I couldn't find this parking ticket. This woman is just going to like, these people be cray. We're breaking them laws.
Yeah.
So
again, that's not what she said. That's not what she said.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
But
and not exactly like that either. Yeah. They were different words being used. Yeah.
So we drive to where, the pole is where, it's supposed to like open very
so
slowly.
they can get out of the parking lot.
Yeah, so that pole thing, it bends in the middle. So he literally got out of the car, grabbed the pole and like shoved it open and drove the car through. And I'm like, there's CCTV camera everywhere because it's a multi-story car park. And I was like, I'm gonna die and you're gonna die. And I was just like,
that's right.
It's like James
because
Bond.
I just think that car parking violations are the number 1 cause for death in the UK.
It is.
I might have read that somewhere. I don't know.
It's true.
Yeah.
I told you I love my stats.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And then I'm literally like panicking because I'm like, you're going to get some sort of fine or they're going to ask you to come to court, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And he's like, listen, like, you did nothing wrong.
Yeah, except do everything wrong.
Yeah. Like, what do you do? But he was so calm and collected. There was like he wasn't panicking at all. He was like, listen, don't worry about this. It's not your fault. These things happen. Okay? And nothing's going to happen to you, I promise. And he was so cool and calm and collected that it kind of calms you down as well. And he's so understanding. I made a huge boo-boo and he was just so understanding. Okay. And then we went and we got pizza. And there was one moment where we grabbed the pizza and we take his car out to where, like, this bay area in Cardiff and Wales.
Of course.
And because that's the most like, romantic place.
Yeah, right.
The sea.
Of course, a bay area by the sea in the dark car, yeah.
Hey!
Good shot.
That to a car which came out of a, without a parking
criminal
ticket.
automobile.
I know.
Yeah.
It's crime. So when he finished the pizza, I was just about to dig in my bag. And like how some handbags have that like small zipper pouch like on the end. So I went in there to pull out my lip balm and the ticket was in there. The ticket was in there.
Smashing.
And I was like, oh, shit. So then I pulled the ticket out and I'm like, his name was Anthony. And I'm like, Anthony, I gotta tell you something. And then I showed him the ticket. And he didn't even, he just smiled and he's like, you know what? Keep this. It's clearly a learning lesson for you.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Keep it safe this time. Yeah.
He was so calm. And when I told my friends about this, they were like, bitch, I would have kicked you out of my car and you should have walked home.
Very interesting story though, because it shows so much about him.
Yeah, it does. By the way, the date got better. So so at one point we decided, I was like, oh, we're going to go home. He said, I'll drop you home. And I'm like, why? I said, Wales is our oyster. There's so much we can do. And then he's like, I got an idea. And I didn't know what. He'd surprised me. So outside of Cardiff, there's a place called Castell Coch, which is Red Castle in Welsh. And he took me there. We snuck in to the castle grounds. Clandestine, went up and like totally made out.
Nice. I think this is a perfect time to learn some more with our segment just called Questions right now.
No answers. You just ask a question, we give you no answers.
There are questions involved. We will attempt to answer them. We really, really require you to write in and ask us some questions that we can answer. So we will give you details on how to get in touch with us eventually. But first, I thought, since we're talking about first dates, if you meet somebody or you know somebody for a long time and they're your friend and you suddenly have feelings for them, how do you ask them out on a first date?
So it's basically, yeah, that's exactly it. I've had a lot of people who've asked me that question, who've said, I've been friends with this person for such a long time. I've known them since like the last 10 years or whatever it is, however long. And now we've always been friends, but now there's something about them that I find really attractive. And as people, we change all the time.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
We change our preferences, we change our goals in life.
And our friends change too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so suddenly you're looking at this person in a slightly different light than maybe 5 years ago or something.
Sure.
And now you want to change that. You want to go, I'm really attracted to you now. How do I ask you out without it just being like, hey, let's hang out, dude? How do you broach that question with someone who you've been friends with for so long? Then the reason why people don't do it or are really scared to do it, whether you're a guy or a girl, is you don't want to do something and then fuck up the friendship.
Yeah.
Anyway, going forward,
Yeah, it can be a complete put off. Like I've been asked out by a few friends.
But here's the thing.
And I got offended.
Yeah, that's
I don't know why. I genuinely got offended. And I know it's a wrong thing to get, but I actually got offended. I was like,
well, why wouldn't you get offended? I mean, it's your friend and you have invested so much time with this person and here they are, like, chucking it all away.
And maybe having sexual thoughts about you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean...
Yeah, probably.
Wow.
Why?
That's really mean. So can I tell you something?
Yeah.
So this counter argument to this, I've always been someone that, I like new people. So most of the people that I've dated have always been people that I barely knew. I've never really dated friends before.
Yeah, me neither.
And the thing is, my cousin...
We're all in agreement here. Yeah.
I wish I could call my cousin here, but my cousin, when I told him about this, he's extremely different. He's like, you know what? I have only ever dated like women who've been my best friends because why would I not want to date my best friend? Like regardless of anything, like she knows me inside out and she knows me so well.
Yeah, but here's the thing. She knows you as your best friend.
No, but can I tell you that conversion rate for, I don't know, maybe my cousin's just real good. But he's just been, every girl that he's dated has always been his like dearest friend and then...
No, I mean, there's nothing wrong with the approach. It makes complete sense. It's just what we're talking about here is that you could be losing something so much bigger. See, in the first instance, when we talked about just asking somebody out, the losses were few. You would just get rejected, and that's all you had to fear. But here, you really, if asking a stranger out is easy on a scale of 1 to 10, easy being 1, 10 being hard, is 2. Asking your best friend out is an 11.5.
But can I tell you, his success rate has been really high. He's so good at, and all his friends.
But how many people has he dated that were his best friend?
I can't give you a number.
And how many best friends has he thrown away that way?
He hasn't thrown away, but they're all still friends. And that's beautiful, because you know what? It's my cousin, and we're so good at being friends.
Yeah, but...
No, but I don't know how, but he has
but it's not going to be the same, right? You can't tell me that they've gone back to being best friends.
Yeah, but I also feel that even if he doesn't ask her out, the fact that he's thought that, I think the friendship is screwed up anyway. Any longer.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think for him, it's always... I mean, another thing is we were talking about being able to read the signs.
You have to read the signs.
So, I think for him, he's incredibly perceptive. One of the very few, like you, I totally respect you, Siddhant, for that, for being really perceptive as men, because men are sometimes not that. Just can't read anything, let alone.
Yeah.
Not that you have to be a mind reader, because I'm not.
You really
either.
don't. I mean,
you just have to be observant and listen and understand.
The way to see the signs is to look for the signs.
I saw signs.
It's like they said in that song. Yeah, but you have to look for it.
And so that's the thing. Yeah. So I think
now if
he's not asked every best friend he's ever had.
Exactly.
He's only asked the ones that
But it's the one that he wanted to ask out. He looked for the signs, saw an opportunity, and then he went and asked.
Pretty much.
And that's very important, because what happens here is what I was referring to earlier. When you are asking someone who's your friend out, you have a lot more to balance and a lot more to see. So you have to be really sure that you're not jeopardizing something for both you and her.
Yeah.
Because, asking her out is great for you, but could be really selfish from her point of view. Because like Dilnaz said, she could get really offended by that. But if you see the signs that she's changed too. And the way she feels about me has changed a little bit. Maybe I can put the question out there and then she'll think about it. And I think she'll say yes. Those are the signs you need to look for. If you don't see them, you should probably reconsider it. That's what I think. I think that makes the most sense here.
I think you spoke sense, Sid.
Wow.
But wow.
That's the
that
compliment.
is like, yeah.
That's it. I can go home now.
I do think though, I don't think it creeps me out as badly as it creeps you out though. Like I've had like friends who may have like, I don't know, maybe like you have asked you out on a date or who've just been like, and suddenly you're like, oh, they probably seen me in this other light. But I don't know, like I don't think of it as necessarily like a bad thing because it happens to all of us all the time, I think. And so I would just be like, no, you thought of me in bed. No.
Don't have these thoughts.
Yeah, I can't stop you from thinking like weird shit. Like,
yeah, but it's just like for me, I've actually got pissed with the person. Like, I'm
I got angry with him. That's just mean, man.
And like,
You're
maybe
how can you think
hang
that?
on. Maybe he did something wrong. Like really pissed
tried to
her
grab
off.
some
Something.
No, ew. That thought of the friend grabbing my boob. Okay.
Horrifying.
Your friend, whoever it is,
yeah.
is like, thank God I didn't do that.
Yeah. Would have been worse.
I thought of, but I didn't.
No.
Had some self-restraint there. Nice.
So yeah, that about answers that, I guess.
You know, I still can't think of a date that I thought was awesome, but then we never went out on another date. I can't
That's
remember.
fine. It's gone now. The moment's passed.
Do you guys ever have any of those?
No, I'm just too cool. I mean, I've always been asked after the second or the third also.
I'm usually the
Mariam, so
one
are
that
you.
doesn't go ahead with the second date.
Oh, you have the FDS, huh?
Yeah, not. Yeah, you could say that. Maybe I think it's most of the time I make
FDS
some.
sounds like some like UTI.
Yeah, it's like I have to go to a clinic
BD.
and get a FDS test. Make sure I don't spread it to anybody else. Yeah. No, I've usually you go on a date and you don't feel much. And you don't feel like it was fun, but it wasn't anything worthwhile. And usually I don't call back. So that's
I don't
what happens.
know. I can't remember. I have like misjudged someone. This guy was just super flirty with me. I used to work with him, and he was really fun and really great. And he was like one of the few Welsh men I'd ever met who could speak Hindi. Just I was amazed by it.
I'm disturbed by this.
It was quite cool
because I too have lived in Wales, and
You'd been to India. And so and so we used to flirt all the time, and all these like cheeky things, like he'd steal my scarf or he'd like hide my bag or whatever, like these cute things. And I actually asked him out twice.
Oh, that's another thing. Please, ladies, ask people out. I had a friend. Can I just interrupt you real quick? Yeah, I had a friend. She's moved to the US, and she's a very, very attractive woman, and she's dating over there. A couple of guys have asked her out, and she's like, man, I really want some romance in my life. These guys, they ask me out and it's terrible. Like, one guy was a total asshole, the other guy was awkward with me, and I didn't have any fun at all, so I just told her, listen, it's so easy to go on bad dates if you are the one being asked out all the time. Why don't you you're an already very attractive, outgoing woman. Why don't you just see who you would like to go out with? Think of a date you want to go on and just ask that guy out. Because then you can take them where you want to go. And you can have fun with them doing the thing you wanted to do. Instead of going from one disappointing place to another with the guy who thinks you like this but might not. So yeah, ladies, please ask people out. Yeah.
But it did happen to me, like I said. I thought this guy was being super flirty with me. I asked him out twice. Once, I think we planned it, and then both of us bailed for some reason. The second time, he bailed, and the third time, it was really weird. So I was like, okay, fine. So I said three times.
Yeah.
I'm done now. I ain't asking you anymore.
For sure.
But then, friggin' came back to India, and he's like, oh, so when you come back to the UK? I'm like, never. Like, well, not for a long time.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I'm like, dude, I asked you out. What
and you
happened?
threw it away.
And you threw it away.
What a fool.
What a fool.
Yeah, there you have it. And that's the end of our show. Thank you, Mariam, for joining us.
You're welcome.
And thank you, Dilnaz, for...
Thank you, Sid.
Yeah, so
And
great,
thank you, Mariam.
Yeah, it's a great start. Great start
Let's all
to
be
our
polite.
show. Yeah, let's all thank each other.
You can find X and Y on iTunes, Audioboom, YouTube, Stitcher, or any podcasting app that you like. If you're trying to find us on iTunes India, you might have some trouble finding us because of the language used on the show. So make sure you change your location before finding us on iTunes.
Hey man, just help me out, man. I need some podcast, man. I haven't had a fix in a week. Just need some.
Don't you worry about it. I got podcast galore for you, man. Just go to ivmpodcast.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Thanks, man. I'm gonna check it out.